Welcome to another Demarcation Media Blokees review. Today we have Defender version 05, Traitor to Tyranny, whatever that means. But Defender version 05? So fast on the heels of Wave 4? I was not really expecting that, but Blokees sure does move at the speed of light, and here we are. The box art looks pretty good. I will say it doesn't stand out as much as the previous wave, mostly because we have orange as the color again, but it really doesn't look bad. I don't really have any complaints here. And as usual, the graphic designers have done quite a good job making it look exciting. And when it's in display case mode, that's very eye-catching. I love the way the little boxes look. I really don't have any complaints about the box. You know, it is just the box after all. So there will have been a live build of this, so if you missed that, or if you just want to watch the build again, there will be a replay, card will be up in the corner for you. Blokees did provide this, but all thoughts are my own, because you cannot buy good reviews on this channel. So there is the entire wave all put together, and there's something missing from this wave that kind of made me a little sad, and that's the poster. So in the past, if you bought a full case, you would get a little poster. There was always 3 variants that you could pull. This is one of the more rare ones. But this wave just doesn't have one, and I was kind of looking forward to getting a Galvatron or a Jetfire poster, but no, there's just not one here. We do get the cards, of course. All the purple ones are Decepticon, all the yellowy orange ones are Autobot. They are also the instructions on how to build the figures. This one's the odd one out. Oh my gosh, I'm flipping it around. This one is Shattered Glass Soundwave, so he's got the Autobot card colors, but he's still a Decepticon. You get the idea. But yeah, I like these. I think using them as the instructions and a collectible card is great, because if you don't love collecting these, you still have a reason to hang on to them. Let's go ahead, jump into the figures, starting with Optimus. So this little guy is really important for a couple reasons. The first big obvious one is the axe. Blokees finally did a Defender size Energon axe, and it is hilarious. Fat, chubby. It's on a little ball joint so you can plug it into his arm. It is kind of a sliced off circle on the one side. I don't love that, because if you put it on his other hand, it looks a bit of an eyesore, but it's still great to get the axe. That's something we've been needing since day one. I do wish that this guy had been a nemesis. I didn't really want a brilliant. I get glittering and brilliant mixed up. Glittering is the gold figures, which we do not have any of in this wave. Brilliant is the gummies. And yeah, I would have preferred this to be a nemesis, but it is a good excuse to give us the axe hand. So overall, he's pretty good. He's got about the same detail as like the standard Wave 1 Optimus. However, he also includes the collectible coin for this wave, and they still did the half heated up version, which I'm a little confused about, since the last one was for Rodimus and he's fire. But anyway, I guess Jetfire means heated up coin. There are 3 variants. There's the Galvatron head, there's a Jetfire head, and there's a Jetfire vehicle. This one is one of the more common ones. Also, Blokees was kind enough to include an alternate fist for Optimus, unlike they did for Hot Rod when he came out. But yeah, so now you can just have a normal translucent Optimus, and you can take this and pop it over to the standard Optimus if you want to, which is really nice. I'm glad they did that. Makes this guy a lot more valuable. Continuing with Optimus, we have Optimus's trailer and roller. So this is pretty interesting because it's not technically its own vehicle. It's just a trailer. But man, it's got so much detail. It looks fantastic. And it's got a ton of functionality too. So you can roll the back down. So that's great. And then it can hinge open, and you get a little extra piece here. I'll show you what that does in a minute. But if you take off the little roller, you can then stand this up, and that can be a spot where you can put Optimus. There's a little spot where you can detach the axe off to the side. There's 2 spots, so I'm not really sure what the second spot is. But there's a ton of detail on the inside. And then if you take the Wave 1 Optimus, or even I guess Shattered Glass Optimus, you remove the turret. You can then take this special piece, plug that on here like so, plug that on like that, and now we have a full trailer Optimus. Then this turret can be plugged in up here, so this can then fold back, and there's enough space in there to put the little roller, and we can still fold up everything, close it up, and he's transporting all of that inside there. And of course you get the back and forth for him to make those turns. This is a great little piece. It is a little bit weird that you basically need to get something from Wave 1 to make it work, but Defenders is kind of doing that where you get parts from different waves to combine, so it's not horrible. I think it also just makes the Wave 1 Optimus look so much better. Speaking of combinations, we have Swindle Vehicle Mode, who is clearly going to be a part of Bruticus. Also, I kind of expect to have this recolored at some point for Hound. That's just kind of my guess. Well, we have this movable little missile and gun assembly up on top. There's a couple peg holes in there. There's a peg hole down in the seats, and you can fold down the windshield all the way to get it out of the way. There's a peg hole on the back. And then the detail on the hood and the front is just fantastic. Blokees did a great job there. Also, he rolls really well, so he's really fun to just push around too. So great vehicle, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how it attaches to the Bruticus Combiner. We also get Onslaught in vehicle mode, who I think is going to be the torso. Now, I'm not going to try to do the part swapping to make him look like the torso. I'm going to save that for whenever I do look at Bruticus. But for now, this guy does look great. He's actually got a clear windshield. That's a separate piece, which is really cool. He's got some nice print for the hood. There's a little bit of articulation in the back section, which makes it a little bit annoying just to like play with and drive around. But then he's got this giant gun. Blokees tells you to build the gun pointed backwards, but you can easily just rotate it around and do like that. Although I do think I put it on upside down. Yeah, you just pop that off. There we go. There we go. Overall, it's a really cool vehicle, but like I said, this part makes just playing with it a little bit annoying. The final vehicle mode is Jetfire transformed, and he's got moving wings. That's the first gimmick for this guy, shifting back and forth. He also has pegs, so if you remove, say, Optimus's back piece, you can attach the jet to his back. So that's another thing you can do. That's pretty cool. I don't know how much I'd be using that. Also, that does leave some pegs here, which means when you set him down, he's always going to be pointed upward. He can never just be flat landed, so that's a little annoying to me. There is also a feature that I'm not really going to touch too much on, but you can do the Marcross jet mode with the Blokees universal connector and then cutting a few bits. I'm not going to do that, but that is something that's possible. So, I mean, I guess that's cool. But overall, pretty solid. He's got a lot of print. He's very fat. He's a very fat alt mode, which I guess is accurate. Definitely not my favorite of all the alt modes, but I do think that they did him pretty well. Also, he's so fat that I keep dropping him. And then we have Jetfire in bot mode. Now, there are 3 versions of this guy for this wave. There's this one, which is the normal one. There is the Shattered Glass Special Galaxy type, and then there's the super rare that's basically just higher details with a little bit of metallic paint and then some missile effects. So if you want one that matches with the vehicle mode, the normal guy is the one to get if you can, but I do love the Shattered Glass look. Even the standard version of this guy looks really good. He's got some nice print work going on. The back is just plain, and there's a couple pegs. Now, I did have some people ask, can we peg the vehicle mode onto the back of the normal? But no, the pegs are too wide. I guess we could remove this and then peg it on. So you could do that. That's a little weird, but that's possible. Also, this gives me an opportunity to show off his gimmick, which is a double-sided head. He's got a battle mask on one side and a standard face on the other. And then his big red back piece covers it up pretty well. Now, I'm not super impressed with the blueprint on the guy's head. It's just, especially on the battle mask side, it's really, really messy. It's probably not going to be that way for everybody's, but it just looks like somebody poked it while it was wet or something. Not a big fan of that. It could be sharper. I've seen Blokees do better. Also, Jetfire comes with one of the new blasters for this wave. This is like the new standard one, which is awesome. And overall, he's a great figure. I just am not impressed by that blueprint. Other than that, I think for a normal, you know, a lot of the other ones with like Optimus, the rares were better, but I think this guy is perfectly serviceable even if you get the standard. Viewfinder makes his first appearance in Blokees form, and this is not one that I'm like a big fan of, although I do think it's very funny that he turns into a camera, so I'm happy to see it, and I hope to get the vehicle mode in another Defender's Wave at some point, because I think that would be hilarious. The chest is pretty cool. It's got the little aperture molded on there with some nice print. The head looks pretty good. Also, I am really impressed by how much movement this head gets. That little helmet piece does not get in the way whatsoever, and I love that. That's fantastic. He doesn't have a ton going on aside from the print on the chest. Or on the back, he does have some nice molded detail. And he comes with the new blaster, but in a gray color, which is fantastic. And it's nice to get different Decepticons. You know, we've had a very Autobot heavy couple waves, so getting a new Decepticon is great. And speaking of Decepticons, we get Cyclonus in this wave, and interestingly enough, his face actually comes painted silver. Typically, Blokees saves that for the rares, but this time, they did it to a common, which is pretty cool. He's overall got some really nice detail. Chest is really good. Lower legs are just standard lower legs, but he's got a different purple for his forearms. I really like the shoulder armors because it allows for a ton of movement while looking really good. His wings have tons of great detail. They do not pose whatsoever though. What you see is what you get in terms of the pose. He's got the same gray blaster, and overall, he's a cool figure. He's weird looking. He's not a design that I'm particularly fond of. I think the head, the rabbit ears are just very odd, but he does look the part of a bad guy, and I know a lot of people are happy to see him. So overall, I don't really have a problem with him being in this wave. I think it's pretty great, to be honest. Now, Shattered Glass Soundwave. I was very happy to see him because Blokees is finally doing more Shattered Glass Decepticons. We've had a lot of Autobots, especially in the Defender Wave. We've had a lot of Autobots. But we got Megatron last wave, and now we get Soundwave, and Soundwave is hilarious. His coloring is really cool. It's very different, very eye-catching. I've seen some people call him like aerobics Soundwave because of his headband. The headband is like a ninja thing. This is not a removable piece. It's actually a whole new head mold. I heard some people saying, oh, I wish it was like a piece you could add on. I mean, I get that, but like, I think this is pretty cool, especially because the tie on the back is such nice mold work. It's really, really cool. Honestly, my only real complaint about him is he's got no print on his forearms. A lot of the toys do have print, but there are a few that don't, so I guess it's not necessarily inaccurate. The face print is great. He's got his blaster all in white. No cassette bots, unfortunately, but it's so cool. He's definitely up there in my top 3 of this wave. Absolutely fantastic. I am very happy to see this, and I hope we get to see Shockwave join him in the next wave. At last, we finally get a normal Sideswipe. We had Sideswipe in, what was that, wave 1? Shattered Glass Sideswipe, but we haven't seen a normal one until now, and he looks great. Blokees did dual color for the lower legs, which is really cool. Makes him look very different and interesting despite there being no print. He's got one of the new blasters, which is great. His head is basically the same, but the chest print looks fantastic, and he's got a different back piece. It's actually a jetpack, which is really cool. Although the little jetpack tubes are not all the way around, so that's a little strange. What's also a little strange is they didn't bother swapping the shoulder cannon to the other side because it's still on the same side as Shattered Glass Sideswipe, and it's supposed to be over here now. So I don't really know why they kept it, because they literally made a whole new back piece. I don't understand. Blokees, what are you doing? Why? This guy was so close to being perfect. He's still an awesome figure, but I just don't understand why they didn't just swap the sides. Maybe there's a design that he's got it on the other side, and somebody can tell me in the comments if I'm off the mark here, but it's a weird choice. Very, very weird choice. We actually get both of the Lambros this wave, which I was kind of surprised about because they spaced Sideswipe and Sunstreaker out so far in the Galaxy version, but here they're both in the same wave. And I like this guy way better than the Galaxy version because, for one, his head can actually move like a normal figure. Galaxy version's head barely moves at all. Also, he's got such a funny little smile. It's one of the most expressive Defender version faces, and I love it. He's also got some nice chest print, dual color legs again, and some new shoulders, which look great, but I think that the ball socket needed to be a little bit deeper. You do get like some almost butterfly joint like flexing on it, but it's very easy to pop them off. Like it doesn't take too much, especially this one side. It just comes off really easily. I'm not a big fan of that. I might have to put like a little rim of glue or something to help keep it in. But yeah, that's a bit annoying. What's not annoying is the fact that he comes with his own special mold of gun. It's in silver plastic, it looks awesome, and if you take it off, you can pop it around to the back and plug it onto the little peg hole there. That's cool, that's awesome. That's way more functionality than I was expecting from just a standard figure. So overall, this guy is great. Really happy to see him. And our final figure is the Special Galaxy type Galvatron. So if you're not familiar with the way Defender version works, you are guaranteed a rare per case. And the rare that I got was the Special Galaxy type Galvatron. You have a standard version, Galvatron, who has non-metallic colors and less detail. And then there is the super rare who comes with a crap ton of stuff. A stand, a sword, a blast effect. It's absolutely crazy. I just got the middle ground guy. And admittedly, he is quite awesome. So he's got all metallic colors, which is great. He's got a translucent gun with some silver print on it. Now this gun is quite loose on the peg. It really easily rotates. Not really a fan of that. That's a bit annoying to me. The head is fantastic and gets a ton of articulation despite being sandwiched between these big massive shoulders. The print on the shoulders is great. Print on the chest is great. I love these new lower legs. There's a ton of print there as well. He can get obviously still the same amount of articulation. He's got some funny upper arms because he doesn't need the shoulder armor there. So they're just like skinny little upper arms, but you do get plenty of articulation still. Around the back, just molded detail. Really nice figure. I'm actually quite pleased with him. A nitpick here, and this is for all figures, there is still this bumping that happens with the thigh while you try to move it. I've complained about it every wave. So far, Blokees has not fixed it. They literally just need to like raise this section up a little bit to keep the thighs from bumping, but that's not what they've done, and it still gets in the way when posing. But that's not a complaint about this figure, that's a complaint about all of them, and this figure is great. There you have it. That is Defender version 05. And I gotta say, this wave is pretty flawless. The character selection is great, the parts are great. I feel like the quality of the parts are going up. There's a lot of these figures that they're nice and tight, the tolerances feel good. There are still a few hiccups here and there, but I do think that between Wave 1 and Wave 5, they have improved quite a bit. The trailer is a great standout. Soundwave is amazing. The Lambros are great. There's really just not too much to complain about here. There really isn't. I'm quite thrilled. I think that Blokees continues to bring a ton of value with Defender version, and I love to see it. So I will have links to the Blokees site down in the description and in the pinned comment. As far as I'm aware, this is not out on the global site just yet, but it is coming. So keep an eye on the Blokees site, keep an eye on their social medias, and I highly recommend you pick up this set. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.